So there's this woman going viral right now on TikTok, and not for something you'd expect, like a TikTok dance or some uneducated political take, but because she had the audacity to set down her phone, look straight into the camera, and say, "I'm pretty. And I know I'm pretty," and that makes people so effing mad. This is Talia Breyer.
I'm pretty and I know I'm pretty, and that makes people so mad. I made a video saying that going out in public is stressful sometimes because everyone's looking at you, and like guys will do things to get your attention, and especially now that I have a following, people are like talking about me, or then they'll come up to me. Like, it's just a different experience than it used to be before I got a nose job and hair extensions and lost weight and started posting on social media, and people, mostly guys, trying to gaslight me and be like, "You're not pretty, you're chopped." You literally cannot tell me that I'm not objectively pretty. I fit the beauty standard. That is just a fucking fact. And the funny thing is, I don't see it as that much of a personal thing.
So yeah, there's a lot to unpack there, and we'll get to it, but the internet was pissed. You have people who are absolute stans of her, arguing back with people in the comments, telling people that they're insecure, and then you have people who absolutely hate her. And if we're being honest, her delivery is right on the edge of rage bait, but she makes a point. Why does a woman confidently calling herself beautiful make people so uncomfortable? Some commenters say that her calling herself the beauty standard kind of has questionable undertones, to say the least.
People are getting so mad at me saying I fit the beauty standard. It's not about my race. Like, what?
Whatever the case is, she said the quiet part out loud. Pretty privilege is real. Beauty standards exist. We all know this. Society has this unspoken rule about pretty privilege. You're allowed to have it, you're allowed to benefit from it, but you are never supposed to acknowledge it, or else you become a target. If you're new here, I'm Natalie, and before we really get into everything, I want to give some context on exactly what this series is. This is part 2 of my magnetism series, and part 1 we went over the mindset, but today we're going over physical attraction. What actually makes someone physically attractive? How can you benefit from pretty privilege, and how to glow up without falling back into this idea that you have to be like everyone else in order to be considered pretty. Today we're going over how to physically reinvent yourself for 2026, not based on what society tells you should be, but based on your features and what makes you beautiful. And the reason I brought up Talia Breyer at the beginning of this video isn't to drag her, but because her virality exposes a reality that a lot of women live. Women are told to play small, okay? Women are told to be humble and to not recognize our own beauty and power. Beauty is social currency, and we all intuitively know this. It's exactly why influencers get sent PR packages, or pretty girls outside the club get to cut the line and not have to pay. Exactly why modeling is an actual industry, because beauty is power. So if beauty is social currency and pretending it doesn't exist makes women confused, the real question isn't whether it matters. It's whether you understand how it works, because the more you understand how it works, the more you can use it to benefit you. You don't want pretty punishment, you want pretty privilege. And that's not conceited to say, it's calculated. This video is my first real deep dive on glow ups, so feel free to skip around. I'm gonna put the chapters on the screen right now, but I truly didn't want this video to be just another video that promotes unrealistic beauty standards. This series is meant to be tailored to you, okay? And we can't talk about beauty standards without talking about the actual historical reality that it's built on. It's not like they just appeared out of nowhere, they were designed. For literal centuries, the ideal beauty standard has been based on proximity to power. And power, for a really long time, was wealthy, white, and European. Light skin, straight hair, thin bodies. Western beauty ideals have excluded people for years. This is history. These specific features weren't just considered pretty, they were associated with wealth, status, and worth. Meanwhile, women who didn't fit that mold were considered to be too much, or told that they needed to be fixed. Beauty standards didn't just separate men from women, they separated women from each other. They taught women to compete for proximity instead of questioning who even made the standards in the first place. For many women, beauty hasn't just been aesthetic, it's been tied to safety, opportunity, and survival. So when someone like openly and bluntly says, "I'm the standard, I'm so pretty" on TikTok, it doesn't just sound confident, it triggers years of exclusion, comparison, and resentment. But here's where your glow up is going to be different. You are going to be enhancing your features, not trying to conform to a standard that isn't even ideal for you. I'm not here to pretend that beauty doesn't matter. It does, but it's 2026. Like, at this point, if people aren't aware of the fact that these things have historical implications, they're willfully ignorant. I'm not here to tell you to reject reality and just love yourself, because there are physical things you can do to maximize your looks. It doesn't have to be based on trying to fit a standard that's outdated. It can be based on what you like. So that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. I'm here to teach you how to navigate the system without letting it own you. So let's define pretty privilege properly. Pretty privilege isn't about being better. It's the benefits you get when you look your best. When you are visually pleasing to look at, you get benefits. And the thing is, literally anybody can benefit from pretty privilege. Not by conforming, but by maximizing what they already look like. And it follows 3 very predictable rules. Rule number 1 is access. Doors open faster for you. You get access to things that most people don't get access to. Opportunities will come to you with less friction. You're being invited to more things. You get more opportunities. You get the jobs you want, even if you're not qualified. Being visually appealing doesn't guarantee you success, but it gets you in the room. Rule number 2 is grace. Your mistakes, if you are pretty, are forgiven. This is exactly why influencers can come and cry online and suddenly the internet has empathy for them. There also is pretty punishment, which I'm going to talk about in a second, but attractive people are allowed to mess up. They're allowed to be a little bit awkward or say the wrong thing in social situations, and people won't attribute that to their character. They're more likely to bounce back from a bad first impression. I promise you, if I did something stupid when I looked like this in public versus if I just rolled out of bed, there would be 2 different reactions. People would be more likely to label me as weird or annoying or try hard versus if I actually put in effort towards the way I look, I would get labeled as ditzy or clumsy. The connotations behind words that are implied to you are completely different when you are pretty. And this is where you guys get uncomfortable because it seems unfair. Because it is. The world isn't fair. And I'm going to ask you a question. Do you want to benefit from it, or do you want to not benefit from it? Do you want to allow your potential to be wasted all because you're lazy and you don't want to put an effort towards your looks? Or are you going to glow up into the version of yourself who gets what you want? You do not have to be a model in order to make yourself look the best you want to look. And it's not conceited, it's calculated. It's literally knowing that when you look your best, you feel your best, you get better opportunities, and you get to the next level faster. Grace is not about morality. It's about perception. People don't want to believe that a pretty person can be flawed, so they're more likely to write off your wrongs as something that was an accident. I'm not saying that it's right, I'm just saying that's the truth. And rule number 3, projection. And this is literally the most important one and the most fascinating. This is called the halo effect. It's basically a cognitive bias where people will assign traits to you that are positive, even if there's no proof that that's what you are. Science shows that if you're considered an attractive person, you are naturally seen as nicer, more intelligent, more trustworthy, not because you are those things, but because your appearance convinces people that you could be. This is why some influencers are perceived as magnetic when in reality they're just aesthetically optimized. They just know how to look good. People aren't responding to their energy, they're responding with what they project onto them. And this happens in the opposite way as well. Pretty punishment is a real thing, especially when it comes towards women judging other women. And this is my personal experience, but I will say that when women don't know their worth, they tend to project negatively onto women who do know their worth. So for the Talia Breyer example, yes, her delivery was off, but a lot of people in the comments are insecure with themselves because they don't find themselves physically attractive. And because of that, they're trying to drag her down. They're saying, you need to be humbled. You're a 4 out of 10. You're ugly. Because they believe that their personal opinion should matter more than your own opinion about yourself. When another woman is threatened by you, they will try to convince you that who you are isn't who you actually are. That's where pretty punishment ensues. Other women can be extremely hateful towards women that they feel threatened by, all because they don't know themselves. So if you are a woman watching this video and you feel a little threatened by this, you feel like, well, I don't feel like I qualify for pretty privilege, I encourage you to use this glow up series to become the best version of yourself, to accept the parts of you that society has told you to change and to fix, because at the end of the day, the beauty standard doesn't matter. When you accept your internal beauty, you genuinely shine. And that might sound dramatic, but that's really what it is. Beauty is not just an external job, it's internal work that you have to do to know that you are beautiful. The more you know yourself, the more immune you will be to this idea of pretty punishment, because you stop valuing that opinion of you as the absolute truth. It doesn't matter if you don't think I'm beautiful, because I know myself and I love myself. So I want you to remember, while we go through the method of how you're going to physically glow up, that true beauty doesn't just come from externally changing yourself, but rather internally loving yourself. That's why I talked about the mindset in part 1. So let's actually talk about the method. Let's talk about what it is you will actually transform yourself into. A lot of girls go through this intense glow up phase where they try to reinvent every single little thing about themselves. They'll write this detailed list of all of this girl maintenance that they have to do. And I'm not saying that's a negative thing, but a lot of people don't understand that attraction is not just based on what you do, it's based on a tiered system. There are levels to looks maxing yourself. If you don't have a solid foundation, you're not going to be able to build off of your attraction. You can't skip levels. You can't optimize tier 3 if your tier 1 is falling apart. Attraction starts with the basics. Tier 1 is your foundation. Without tier 1, nothing else sticks. A large portion of what we call attraction is just an attraction to someone's health. When we see that someone takes care of themselves, they automatically become more attractive. Tier 1 signals health, hygiene, and discipline. It doesn't matter if your nails are done if your breath stinks. It doesn't matter if you get plastic surgery if you're not taking care of your health. You can't style your way out of taking a shower. I'm sorry, babes. Like, I know this is really obvious. I feel like more so men need to hear this, but we're still talking about it because there's still things in this tier that you can maximize. For example, whitening your teeth. I whiten my teeth once a week with these High Smiles. I literally got them on the TikTok shop, so I'll link my TikTok shop affiliate if you guys want to go get it. Taking care of your oral hygiene should be above all else, okay? Flossing, brushing your teeth daily. If your breath stinks, that's actually disgusting. Also, having yellow teeth, you tend to hide your smile because you feel embarrassed about it, so whiten your teeth. Next is skin health, and I know this is a sensitive topic, but as someone who had hormonal acne that wouldn't go away with any product I used, what actually worked for me is going to a dermatologist and getting prescribed spironolactone. Find your skincare routine, okay? I'm gonna put the products I use up on the screen, and these products are subject to change, but if you guys want a full skincare routine, I'll link my TikTok and I'll make a TikTok video about it. But skin health is not just about skincare, it's about eating good. You can't eat like trash and never drink any water and then just assume that you're gonna have good skin. It is a non-negotiable to have a good cleanser, a good moisturizer, and a good sunscreen. If nothing else, at least do those 3 daily because it actually protects your skin. Number 3 is basic movement and fitness. You don't have to run a marathon, you don't have to do powerlifting, but going to the gym and working on your health is attractive. This shouldn't be controversial. You can accept your body and still work towards one that improves your health. Having muscle improves your health. It brings oxygen to your brain. It literally helps you think faster. When you are physically active, you are not only just like making yourself look better or trying to get skinny or what. You don't have to get skinny. You can just appreciate your body, appreciate the fact that it works, and still work to maximize it. You can love your body and still want to improve your life and still want to look better. That's the truth. And I don't really care if you try to cancel me because I made it very clear what I mean. To avoid being redundant, I won't talk about like showering and stuff like that. Obviously, just take care of yourself. But the last thing I'm going to talk about is posture. Sit up straight. When you're hunched over like this, scientifically, you are seen as less attractive. That's how important it is to have good posture. And this isn't just about standing up straight. This is about having manners. If you're a feminine woman, you shouldn't be sitting with your legs open. You shouldn't be trying to sit like a man does. Cross your legs, put them to the side. Sit like a lady. Utilize slow movements. When you are fast and in a rush, you automatically come across to people as demanding. Walk like you belong in a room. I don't care what music you have to play in your headphones, okay? Walk like you own the room. Just move with purpose. Like, don't rush everything. This is free, and it immediately changes how people perceive you, so use it. Moving on to tier 2, this is enhancement and optimization. This is getting your nails done, tweezing your eyebrows, getting lash extensions. And if you always get lash extensions, I highly suggest looking into lash clusters. I do my lash clusters at home, and they actually last me about a week and a half. Any products I use, I will link down below in my Amazon storefront or on my TikTok shop. But tier 2 is is about working alongside your features, not trying to eliminate them. Let's talk about hair. How do I keep my hair so lively, and what did I do to get here? Well, I'm gonna be honest, I used to have crazy hair at one point. And hear me when I say this, there's nothing wrong with dyeing your hair a crazy color, but know the implications that come along with having a hair that's more of a fun color like pink or purple or blue. When you don't have a natural hair color, you will automatically come across to certain people as more immature. That doesn't mean it's a bad thing, that just means to know what comes along with it, because at the end of the day, you shouldn't care what other people think as long as you like it. But just know it does impact the way you're perceived, and this is coming from someone who had blue hair, okay? I absolutely loved the color and I thought it looked really good on me, but people did see me a certain way. A few things I do to keep my hair healthy, especially after dyeing it so many times, is number one, I do high lift color. I am more of a dirty blonde, so I still get highlights in my hair and I don't have to use bleach, which is a little bit more damaging. It's completely optional to color your hair, but I just have a personal preference towards being blonde. Next, I do a hair mask on my weekly reset days. Now, these weekly reset days are so important. I get everything done on this day. Laundry, my self-tanner, doing groceries, all of those things. But I always use a lot of heat on my hair, so to repair that, I always let this sit in my hair for about 30 to 40 minutes while I'm doing my chores, and it makes my hair feel so soft afterwards. Another thing I do is I take hair and nails supplements. So this is with collagen and biotin, I believe, so it actually helps your hair and nails grow. Another supplement I take is magnesium. This isn't specific to hair, but it also helps me get a good night's sleep. But to switch the conversation to hair styling, I believe you should do what works with your life. Every single person's hair is different, and find what works for you. Taking care of your hair every single day is not negotiable. You can't roll out of bed with bedhead and just act like that's fine. Find a style that works for you, your hair texture, your styling, and stick with it. Next, I talked about how I do self-tanning, and this is completely optional, but I do highly suggest, if you look like me, that you might want a little bit of a self-tanner in the winter, because I get super pale and it tends to flush me out, especially in photos. You don't have to become something you're not, but it gives my skin a little bit more color, and it's just something that adds to my routine. Be sure to exfoliate and shave and do all the things that you need to do in tier 1 before you actually upgrade into tier 2. And number 5, let's talk about makeup. Now, you can go on my TikTok if you want a full makeup tutorial. Makeup is literally designed to enhance your beauty. If you look worse when you put on makeup, you're not doing it right. I'm not trying to be mean, but I think a lot of people will see someone with this huge cake of makeup on their face and they're like, well, they would just look better without makeup. Most people prefer more natural makeup than over-the-top cakey makeup. I think it's so cool to shape your eye makeup to your eye shape. If you want to find out your eye shape, I highly suggest looking online what your eye shape is, and then you can look up and see what designs work best for your eye. Some girls look really, really good with a cat eye. It's okay that not everyone has to do the same exact makeup, okay? Whether you're a clean girl, whether you want more of a dragged out look, whatever you want to do, find something that works for you and you enjoy. But the one thing I will say is do not go outside without at least something. And this is if you actually want to be magnetic. Now, this doesn't mean you have to have a full face. This doesn't even mean you have to put mascara on, but a lip gloss and some skincare to go to the grocery store will make you feel better. You shouldn't be going outside rolling out of bed, because at the end of the day, you never really know who you're gonna run into. When you look good, you feel good. So my suggestion to you, wear something when you go outside, okay? Even if that's a little bit of eyebrow gel and some moisturizer. There's even like tinted moisturizers that will give your skin a little bit of a glow without doing too much. You don't have to go over the top. It just makes you feel so much better, but that's just my opinion. Moving on to tier number 3, let's talk all about strategy and intentional presentation. This is when your attractiveness is more so based on your personal aesthetics, what you like to wear, your accessories, your body shape. This is where it becomes actually personal. Let's talk about strategic styling based on your body proportions. Torso size, arm length, and waist to hip ratios all matter when it comes to how certain clothes fit on you. This section is intense, so go ahead and skip to the chapter of your body shape.
So I'm going to show you how you can tell if you have a long or short torso. Put your hands together on top of each other and place it right below your chest area. If the bottom of your hand touches your belly button or goes below your belly button, you probably have a shorter torso. But if your hands don't completely cover the space between your chest and your belly button, and there's still a lot of space there around your midsection, you probably have a longer torso. And then just compare the length of your torso to your legs to figure out your body's full proportions.
If you're a short torso, the goal is to create length in your midsection. Low-waisted bottoms and crop tops look so good on people with short torsos, but avoid high-waisted pants because when you have a short torso, it means that you don't have a lot of room in that region and you'll end up looking boxy. If you have a long torso, I recommend mid to high-rise jeans. High-rise jeans look so good on people with long torsos, but avoid tops that stop midway because a lot of the times if you have a long torso, you need shirts that are a little bit longer. There are some tops that might fit really awkward on you because they literally cut off halfway through your stomach. So find shirts that are a little bit longer for you. That way they don't cut off at an awkward point. If you have broad shoulders, the goal is to even out your body. V-necks or scoop necks often look really, really good on this body shape as well, but avoid boat necks or any really, really tight turtleneck. If you have narrow shoulders, create structure with blazers. You can also use like off the shoulder tops or tight fitting shirts that allow your arms to look even slimmer. And now we're gonna go into body shape. If you need to find out your body shape, there is a body shape calculator online, but I would only recommend doing this if you're in the mental state where you can. If you are dealing with any type of ED or anything like that, I just want you to be careful. Your body is absolutely beautiful no matter what shape you are, but styling it in a certain way can really, really help accentuate your natural beauty. Okay, so if you're a pear shape, you're gonna want to add volume more to the top of your body. Pear shaped bodies look amazing in like some structured tops, like blazers that have like a cinch at the waist. Tube tops also look really good on pear shaped bodies. If you're apple shaped, you're going to want to avoid tightly fitted clothing, like for example, a Skims dress, wrap dresses, or belted tops, or anything like that looks really, really good, as well as basically trying to make a triangle with your shoulders and your stomach. The goal of the clothes you wear is going to be to define shape. Avoid tight pants and more so go for a baggy jean or a flowy pant. And belts are 100% your friend. If your body shape is rectangular, you're going to want to create curves with flowy dresses. Low-waisted pants often look so good on like rectangular body shapes. That's just my personal opinion, and also it has to do with your short torso, long torso, anything like that. Having dresses that will like kind of cinch you in and give you that illusion of like being snatched. I highly recommend looking up a specific celebrity or influencer that has your body shape because you can utilize their posts as outfit inspiration. And I just encourage everyone to find their own style because the more you have your own style and you feel confident in what you want to wear, you're not going to be so worried on like, oh, does this look good on my body shape or does this not look good on my body shape? You're going to accept who you are and feel confident going outside in what you want to wear. Okay, let's talk about colors. Have you ever noticed that certain colors look amazing on your friends but just wash you out? That's because not every single color looks good on every single person, and that's okay. A color analysis has been trending on TikTok recently, and it's not nonsense. This is actual science. There are so many different skin tones and undertones. Like for example, I have more of a pink to neutral undertone, and my sister has more of a warmer undertone. The colors that we both wear and the colors that we feel like are our best colors are completely opposite. There are colors that will literally make you look more tired, and you can see it on your face. Now, a lot of people will go to someone for a color analysis, but for me, I just go to the internet. So here's how to figure out your colors, okay? You're gonna take a picture of yourself in natural lighting, and you're gonna go into any photo editing tool, whether that's on your iPhone or on Photoshop, and you're gonna use the color dropper to actually get the color of your skin tone, hair color, and eye color. Once you have that, there are hex codes, which are basically the numbers and letters that relate to that color. All you have to do after that is go ahead and paste those hex codes into an AI of your choice and ask them which colors would look best on you. A color analysis works by telling you what type of contrast you are, whether you're a high contrast, which means your hair, your eyes, and your skin tone create a lot of contrast naturally, or low contrast, and also what seasons you are as well. And it's just really helpful to know what it actually means. And once you know your colors, shop intentionally. Buy clothing pieces that you know look good on you. And last but certainly not least in this tier, please do context-based dressing. You cannot show up somewhere that is professional looking like a bum. You should not be dressing in sweats and a t-shirt when going to a job interview. And I think this is pretty obvious, but I think it goes to show that the more you present yourself in a way that you want to look, the more opportunities will fall into your lap because what you want isn't contradictory to what you look like. Dressing differently for different situations isn't being fake, it's being strategic. So use it to your advantage. image. And finally, tier 4 is all about your presence and your magnetism. This tier is invisible. This isn't a glow up. This isn't a new trend. This is just who you are and living in authenticity. And the reason that this is tier 4 is because you can have all of those three, but still not be living as the most authentic version of yourself. This is why I went over the mindset first, because when you understand why you're glowing up, you stop feeling the need to perform a glow up and you start actually embodying it. When you are reinventing yourself in the new year, you're not just blindly recreating whatever's on your Pinterest board. You are learning to love the parts of you that you often ignored. This is where the pretty punishment is avoided, because anything that anyone says about you, your style, the way you dress, the way you act, it doesn't bother you if you are living authentically. Everything I said today is just personal opinion and online advice about how to dress for your body shape, your colors, whatever. If you don't like wearing a certain type of clothing, you don't have to wear it if that's not what you want to do. It's all just a suggestion, but when you know yourself, you're not going to be bothered by what society tells you to do. True magnetism comes from not tying your worth to your upkeep, not trying to perform in order to be beautiful, but instead relaxing in who you naturally are and knowing that you are worthy of good things. You are worthy of the attention you want, the attraction you want, the relationship you want. You are worthy of it, regardless of if you have some crazy glow up. So instead of making some arbitrary list of all of these things you need to do in order to glow up in 2026, change 3 things in your life and stay consistent with them. Trust me, you will glow up a lot more if you're just consistent in going to the gym, taking care of your health, and then maybe trying out a style that you haven't before than you would trying to keep up with these 10-step skincare routines that don't even work. You don't need another routine. You need consistency. So before we end this video and go into part 3 of the magnetism series, I want to affirm that you are okay just as you are. But if you want to glow up, then do it. But don't do it because society tells you that you have to. Don't do it because some girl on TikTok thinks that she's the most beautiful person in the world. Because at the end of the day, arrogance is loud, but true confidence is quiet. And that doesn't mean that you have to physically be a quiet person or have to humble yourself, but it's an internal knowing that you are who you are and you don't have to boast about it in order for it to be valid. With that being said, you guys, I love you guys so much and I'm so appreciative of you making it to the end of this video. If you liked it, be sure to give this video a like and subscribe. Again, all of my links will be in the description, and that includes my Amazon storefront with all the products that I use, as well as my TikToks and my social media. Another thing, on natalieedge.com, I have both my 21-day devoted challenge as well as my 7-day confidence challenge up. So if you're looking for a new challenge during the new year, I highly suggest to just go check that out. I know I still have the sale going on, so invest in yourself in the new year. And with that being said, I love you guys so much.